They thought Obama was passing out money. Have any of you heard of an individual by the name of L.Z. Granderson? Snerdley. Snerdley's not heard of L.Z. Granderson. Dawn, have you heard of L.Z. Granderson? Ryan, have you heard of L.Z. Granderson? Prior to last night, I had not heard of L.Z. Granderson. However, L.Z. Granderson was named the Journalist of the Year by the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender crowd. He has a column at CNN.com, and he also writes for ESPN. L.Z. Granderson, named the Journalist of the Year. In an op-ed posted at CNN.com yesterday, L.Z. Granderson, talking about Operation Fast and Furious, said times have changed, and not everything is our business anymore. We just need to butt out of this. As for the people killed because of the operation, they're collateral damage. The Journalist of the Year, as named by the National Lesbian Gay Journalists Association, said of Operation Fast and Furious, it's none of our business. Times have changed. We need to butt out. The people killed in this operation are collateral damage. Journalist of the Year. He said, we're a nosy country. It's an excerpt from the piece. We're a nosy country. Though, to be fair, it's not entirely our fault. Between the 24/7 news cycle, social media, and reality TV, we've been spoon-fed other people's private business for so long that we now assume it's a given to know everything. And if there are people who choose not to disclose, they must be hiding something. Being told that something none of your business is slowly being characterized as rude, and if such a statement's coming from the government, it seems incriminating. Well, times have changed. Not everything is our business now. In the political arena, things are there are things that should be and need to be kept quiet. Heads should roll because of the Fast and Furious debacle. We don't need every detail of that operation to be made public in order for that to happen. But we don't need to be told. You agree with some of the sentiment as expressed there by L.Z. Granderson? Well, it could be your new hero then. I'll get you a subscription to his column on CNN. I'll pay for it. If this guy's lighting you up in there. But speaking of that, there was a column, our old buddy David Brooks of the New York Times, who wrote once of Obama that the crease in his pants was such that alone told Brooks he's going to be president and was going to be a good one. The crease in his pants. David Brooks in the New York Times wrote a piece yesterday, said that we have to relearn the art of following our leaders. We don't have a leadership problem in the United States. We're not good followers anymore. I don't know if America has a leadership problem. It certainly has a followership problem. Vast majorities of Americans don't trust their institutions, and it's not the institution's fault. It's Americans' fault. We live in a culture that finds it easier to assign moral status to victims of power than to those who wield power. Then there's our fervent devotion to equality, to the notion that all people are equal and deserve equal recognition and respect. The main problem is our inability to think properly about how power should be used to bind and build. Those question authority bumper stickers no longer symbolize an attempt to distinguish just and unjust authority. They symbolize an attitude of opposing authority, and this is not good. So we got L.Z. Granderson, the Journalist of the Year. We don't need to know. It's none of our business. Whatever Obama did, it's cool. And if there was death, it's collateral damage. And then Brooks, in his own way, is saying, we're not following. We just need to accept what our leaders tell us and learn to love it. Now, you know, in Brooks's case, where this comes from is the belief that he and others like him are members of an elite, and they're smarter and brighter and better, and they're doing fine. It's us who are the problem. We don't recognize how smart these people are. We don't acknowledge their elite status. We don't trust their intelligence and their brains. And America is in trouble because we are not following the smart people. We're renegades, we're independent, and we don't trust the institutions that are populated today by the best and brightest. Brooks even criticizes our fervent devotion to equality. He says it's hard in this frame of mind to define and celebrate greatness, to hold up others who are immeasurably superior to ourselves. If we're going to assume that we're all equal, then we're not going to recognize the smartest people among us, and we're not going to follow them. Now, if you take some of this stuff out of context, he's right. If you combine it with his theme, it's crazy. For example, when he says it's hard in this frame of mind to define and celebrate greatness, to hold up others who are immeasurably superior to ourselves if we're all going to be fervently devoted to equality. Well, you take that just by itself, you could make a case that it makes sense. But when you combine it with his theme, that most of us are a bunch of worthless nobodies who think we're somebodies and don't recognize the brilliance of people like Friedman and Brooks and Obama and the rest. It's no wonder the leaders can't do their jobs because all the followers think they're smarter than the leaders when they're stupid. So his basic point is we're not subservient enough. Simply not subservient enough. So LZ Granderson, who I just learned that Snerdley admires, Brooks fears the consequences of a skepticism about authority. This whole piece, he says people who are skeptical of authority will lead to dangerous consequences, such as you end up with movements like Occupy Wall Street and the Tea Parties that try to dispense with authority all together. They reject hierarchies and leaders because they don't believe in the concepts. The whole world should be like the internet, a dispersed semi-anarchy or semi-anarchy in which authority is suspect and every individual is king. So the Tea Parties, Occupy Wall Street are the same because they're trying to dispense with authority altogether. And, of course, it's written from the standpoint that Brooks is a member of the authority. He is an authority, and he's being rejected. He doesn't like it, and the problem is that he's not persuasive enough. The problem is that we simply don't know how to follow.